What's going on, everybody? You have Tone here, bringing you guys some more Draft League content this week, or this time. I guess you can call this pretty much a return, more or less. As you can see by the layout surrounding my screen, this is the NPL, a league where I technically said after Season 5 of the NPL Minors, I said I wouldn't return, but I figured that considering all the other leagues that I was doing at the moment were currently like in their latter stages, like either playoffs or they already ended, just try to get back into just have an extra league to do, just to have something to upload to my channel. So I decided to return to the NPL Minors for season number 6 and take over for someone who recently dropped from the league. So yeah, so this team is kind of not weird. It is sort of similar to what I would draft myself with some components. Even funnier considering the team I'm taking over, which I believe was Baton Mash's team coach of Littenpool. Some of the Pokemon he had on this team is Pokemon I actually had on my Season 5 NPL Minors team, specifically the Mew and the Zoroark. So just to quickly run down the team that I inherited in the NPL Minors, the full team I took over consists of the Mew, Toxapex, Tangrowth, Keldeo, Hippowdon, Mega Aerodactyl, Blaziken, Zoroark, Metagross, and Slurpuff, with the Z users being Keldeo and the Zoroark. So, a very, very solid team, has some very nice bulk components. I've drafted Toxapex in the past, never used it in any of those battles just because it was just way too passive. So for this particular team, I'm actually I'm using this current team for this week 6 game against the Inglewood Infernape, coached by King Clyde. And heading into week number 7, I'll be using the changes I made to the team from week 7 onward. Nothing major. I'll go into that for my week 7 battle or what when I get to that point. So just to quickly run over the team I'm facing, which is the Inglewood Infernape and Coach King Clyde. His full team consists of the Mega Diancie, Zeraora, Arcanine, Skarmory, Ranunculus, Vaporeon, Staraptor, Celebi, Rotom Frost, and the Goodra, with his Z users being Zeraora and the Rotom Frost. So once again, I am facing off against the Zeraora, and recently in my draft league career, I have not boded well against Zeraora. I think I've only won once in the now 4 times. This is like the fourth or the fifth time I'm placing a Zeraora. I've only won 1 of those games, and not the fact that I haven't. It's not the fact that Zeraora is a problem. It's more so the components surrounding Zeraora that could be a bit problematic, and it holds true here in this case, especially considering that the defensive core I'm bringing to this game is actually very, very weak to Rotom Frost. Like the combination of Thunderbolt plus Blizzard is something I do not do well against, so hopefully I don't see the Rotom Frost in this game. But in hindsight, it is what it is. I try to prep for everything as best as I possibly could in this matchup. So just to quickly run down the team I am bringing, considering that this video should have gone up a while back, I don't want to take up too much time in terms of going over this particular team. So just to quickly run down, I have this Mew with leftovers, Bulk Up, Drain Punch, Leech Life, and Thunder Punch with 240 HP, 172 special defense, and 96 in speed. The speed being enough for a Adamant Max Speed Goodra. And then the HP and the special defense lets me take special attacks better, stuff like Mega Diancie's Moonblast if I need to. Bulk Up is just very, very nice in this matchup. Drain Punch, I can get back a lot of health on a good majority of the team. I can Drain Punch the Diancie, Drain Punch the Rotom. Leech Life is here for the Ranunculus and the Celebi, and Thunder Punch is there for the Skarmory and the Vaporeon, as they can take any other hits. They can take Drain Punch and Leech Life with relative ease. in this matchup. So moving on, next up is my Mega Aerodactyl with Hone Claws, Roost, Stone Edge, and Fire Fang, with 56 HP, max attack, enough speed for the Zero Aura. I kind of wanted to speed creep Zero Aura, creeping something, I think it was like Keldeo or something along those lines, but I didn't want to take any chances, and I just left it as it is. But to be perfectly honest, a combination of Stone Edge plus Fire Fang hits its entire team neutrally. Just going down the list, Mega Diancie, Stone Edge, Zero Aura, Stone Edge, Arcanine, Stone Edge, Skarmory, I 2 KO with +1 Fire Fang, Ranunculus, Stone Edge, Vaporeon, Stone Edge, Staraptor, Stone Edge, Celebi, Fire Fang, Rotom Frost, Fire Fang, Goodra, Stone Edge. So I know I have to hit like multiple. I know I have to be very, very careful of when I set up and use Stone Edge, since it has such limited PP. But Mega Aerodactyl just does a lot in this game if I'm able to get up a Hone Claws on something in particular, and I do have a way of doing that with my Zoroark, which I'll get into in just a minute. But first, just to quickly run down my defensive team, the defensive core in this game. I have my Tangrowth with leftovers, Leech Seed, Earthquake, Toxic, Hidden Power, Fire, with 248 HP, 172 defense, 88 special defense with a relaxed nature. The HP and defense lets me take two adamant Choice Band Adamant Fire Punches from Zero Aura after rocks, and the rest I just threw into special defense to not get blown back from stuff like Celebi, HP Fire, or something along those lines. Leech Seed is nice and spammable. I do have to worry about the Sapsipper Goodra. Earthquake is for the Diancie and the Zero Aura. Toxic to Widow stuff down like Vaporeon. And Hidden Power Fire is for the Celebi and the Skarmory. Then next up is my specially defensive Toxapex with Liquidation, Recover, Toxic, and Knockoff. Just max Spadef. This is my initial check to the Mega Diancie. I say check, not counter, because Earth Power still has a chance to 2 a KO. Well, Earth Power or Psychic can easily 2 a KO Toxapex with some prior chip damage. And I went with Liquidation over Scald because if he goes Zero Aura on my Toxapex, which I do expect him to do, and if he's like a substitute variant, I want to have a way of breaking the potential to break Zero Aura's sub with with an attack. And Scald does not do that, but Liquidation has a chance to do that. So if he's not running any bulk investment, then I can break the sub with Liquidation and knock off. I can knock off Vaporeon's leftovers, or I can knock off anything in general. And then Toxic is just, again, nice for his bulkier threats like Vaporeon. Then we have a standard mixed defensive Hippowdon, Stealth Rock, Whirlwind, Slack Off, Earthquake, max HP, 64 defense, 192 special defense. The investment guarantees I can take stuff like Mega Diancie's Moonblast. I can take a Zero Aura Grass Knot from full, stuff, most of the stuff along those, stuff like that. And then just do the rest in the defense to avoid the 2 KO from Scarf. I think it's Scarf or Banded Brave Bird from Staraptor I avoid 2 KO from. So this is just another backup check to Mega Diancie. I can check Zero Aura even with Grass Knot, as long as I keep my Hippowdon at a relatively high amount of HP. Get up rocks and face stuff around with Whirlwind. And then lastly is my Choice Scarf Zoroark with Dark Pulse, Hidden Power, Steel, U-Turn, and Memento with max special attack, enough speed for Staraptor, and the rest. Oh, that shouldn't be right. There we go. Max special attack, enough speed for the Staraptor, the rest thrown into HP. I didn't really need anything else in this game because his Dark Resist is Mega Diancie, which I have the Hidden Power Steel for. And if he leads off with Mega Diancie trying to get a freak, trying to get some damage off, I can Hidden Power Steel. It's a chance to knock it out from full. Like if he's no bulk investment, it's doing like 94 min. And if he's Naive Nature, it kills. If he's hasty, it's a roll, but it's still in my favor to kill. And then with Diancie gone, I can just spam Dark Pulse with my Zoroark. U-turn from nice for momentum on stuff like Celebi. And Memento is here, so I can Memento up on something and make it easier for either my Mew or my Mega Aerodactyl to set up a lot easier. So Well, out of the way, that's the team, and with that, let's move right into the battle. Alright, so here we are with the battle against King Clyde and his Inglewood Infernape, and this is pretty much more or less the team I expected him to bring in this matchup. Kind of wishing that I didn't see the Staraptor because, like, Bravebird does a lot to my team in this matchup. I don't have my flying resist in this game is Metagross, which isn't really the best of responses. I did want to bring Metagross initially on this team, but just couldn't find the opportunity to try to make it work into this particular build. But nonetheless, he did bring the Mega Diancie, the Zeraora, excuse me, the Staraptor, Vaporeon, Arcanine, and the Skarmory. So right away, I'm just going to quickly go through this because, like I said, a bit of time constraint for this battle, for this video. So I am going to lead off here with my Zoroark and disguise it as my Toxapex. Because if he does lead off with his Mega Diancie, I would want to get him to get into a situation where I would want him to stay in, because even if I Scald the Diancie, it's fine because he's not going to take much damage from it anyway. The only thing he would risk is a Scald Burn, and at the same time he can 2-KO my Toxapex with Earth Power or Psychic, as I'm expecting to be leaning more towards Earth Power because it does allow him to hit my Metagross on the switch. So with that out of the way, let me just go right into the game, just speed things up a little bit. So I'm going to lead off with my Zeraora, disguise it as my Toxapex, but at least it was the he leads off with the Zeraora here, reveals Calm Mind as he now goes for Hidden Power Ice, as he reveals to be Sugar Berry on my Earthquake. He Hidden Power Ices again as I go into my Mew, and I believe from here I go for a Drain Punch. No, okay, I bulk up immediately, because I figured he would try to go out into his Skarmory or something along those lines. So I want to go out to my Hippowdon here. He makes a good play and U-turns out into his Vaporeon. And I believe here I'm going to go out into my Toxapex again, my actual Toxapex, as he's going to throw up a Wish, and this is essentially going to be a free switch in to the Zeraora here, as I'm going to click Knock Off, trying to knock off the Vaporeon's leftovers, which doesn't work out for me, but it's fine. From here, I believe I'm just going to go for a Toxic, because I know he wants to try to Calm Mind in my face, and if he substitutes, I'm just going to go for Liquidation, as I'm now going to go for Liquidation now, as my Toxapex is not really doing much in this game because I have other ways of dealing with the Diancie. I have a Mew and a Hippowdon, so it's not that big of a deal. He makes a great play here as he doubles out into Staraptor as I go out into my Tangrowth. And here I'm just going to sack off my Toxapex to the Brave Bird here and now go into my Hippowdon here and get up my Rocks as he goes out into his Skarmory. I could have doubled out into my Mew, but I didn't really see the point in doing that. So he's going to defog here as I Whirlwind him out into Zeraora, unfortunately. I do have the bulk to take a Grass Knot from Zeraora as I do, and I'm going to knock out the Zeraora here with the Earthquake, so big threat gone right there. And it comes to Mega Diancie here. I'm going to go out into my Mew because I can take a Moonblast from this thing with relative ease, as I am now going to, I believe, go for a Drain Punch as the Staraptor is going to come in on my Mew. And here I'm going to make the play and go out into my Tangrowth and live the Brave Bird from the Staraptor here. So now I'm going to make a double into my Aerodactyl here. So I'm actually going to get crit, unfortunately, and that sucks immensely because what this means, because I made that play because I knew for a fact that my Aerodactyl could take any hit, and judging by and I already judged by the damage I did to my Tangrowth that had to be Choice Banded, so if I went hard Aerodactyl, I could have taken the hit, Mega Evolved, and gone for Stone Edge and Revenge killed it. Although hindsight might have said to sack off the Tangrowth. Tangrowth still had some usage in terms of checking the Vaporeon. I could have at least Toxic that thing or Toxic the incoming Arcanine or whatever, and I still could have gone for Earthquake against the Diancie and pivoted around that way. So yeah, losing Mega Aerodactyl there sucks immensely. Nothing really I can really do about that. But I'm going to now go out into my Mew as he's going to go out into his Mega Diancie now. No, as my Zoroark disguised as my Mew, as he's actually going to pull a switch out into his Vaporeon as I just click HP Steel. So now I'm going to go out into my Tangrowth as he goes for the Toxic. And I believe I am going to fire off a Earthquake. If I recall, either I Earthquake or I Elite Seeded, one of those two. Yeah, I Elite Seeded here because it was a no drawback play. He didn't bring the Gudra, so it's fine. In comes the Mega Diancie as I click Earthquake, do 43. And I believe I'm going to sack off the Tangrowth. Yeah, I sack off Tangrowth here. I didn't want to go hard into Hippo because Hippo was still relatively low from the Zeraora. In comes my Mew here as I go for the Drain Punch on the Vaporeon. And I'm now trying to set it up in a situation so I can win potentially in the late game with my Zoroark here, as the idea was initially to set up to Memento with Zoroark into my Mew or my Mega Aerodactyl so they could set up, but now it's going to essentially be the inverse, as I am now just trying to bulk up, trying to get as much damage off as I can on his bulkier Mons. As essentially speaking, I got damage off on the Diancie to the point where if I'm able to Dark Pulse flinch, I essentially the only way I can potentially bring this game back at this point in time is I need to find a way to get up rocks with my Hippowdon, keep them up, go into Zoroark, and essentially just spam Dark Pulse. 'Cause that's literally all I'm trying to do at this point here. So I'm just using my Mew as a means to just get off as much damage as I can to his team as he's going to roost up there and get up to his highest health as possible. Here I could have gone into Zoroark, but I go into Hippowdon here because I wanted to get up rocks for the Diancie, and I wanted to get some health on this thing because this can still check the Mega Diancie fairly well. I didn't mind getting poisoned there because I just wanted to get off damage on this and pretty much everything else on his team except for the Skarmory. So now I'm going to get my rocks here as he's going to go out into his Skarmory on my Earthquake, because like I said, I just wanted to get some damage on this thing. So I'm just gonna spam rocks until I essentially drop here. So I'm basically putting him into a situation where he's forced to I'm basically forcing him to try to kill me as I get my rocks up and keep them up. Like, that's literally the only thing I have going for me at this point, as I just have to find a way to Dark Pulse flinch his entire team down. Like, that's literally my best bet here, as I'm just going to drop to the Toxic damage. In comes the Zoroark. I go for Dark Pulse there, do 52. He goes for Brave Bird, doesn't kill me, but I am going to take him out with the next Dark Pulse here, and I essentially think I'm going to lose here as he goes out into the Arcanine here. So I think he's going to Extreme Speed and Revenge Kill me, but he doesn't have the Extreme Speed, and I actually get a crit flinch on the Arcanine here, which is kind of weird. That potentially hack's going to go my way. In comes the Mega Diancie. I need to flinch this if I win. I don't get the flinch, and I'm going to drop to the Moonblast. So we're going to lose this game 2-0 here. But the fact that I still had a chance to win despite the Aerodactyl getting crit by the Staraptor there, it's kind of two-faced at the same time. I'm like, I could have played it a little bit better with my switches and whatnot, but again, it is what it is. Like I said, the fact that I was able to even get into a situation where I had a chance to win with my Zoroark, like if I got the flinch on this day on the Mega Diancie, I literally won the game because his Vaporeon was at 28% after coming in on rocks, plus it was toxic from my from Mew's Synchronize when he toxic my Mew. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, I'm not really gonna get all upset about it. The fact that I had a chance to bring it back and win this game is still very, very formidable. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Hope you guys did enjoy. GG to King Clyde. So week 7 will be my first game with the changes to the team. We take on the San Antonio Sparks, coached by Will, in a very, very exciting matchup. So that's going to be it from me, guys. Until the next time, this is Tone, signing out for now. Peace out.